Hey everybody, Brett here with Double Shots. Happy Halloween. I am doing a technology video today. So I had somebody ask a question to me about mobile phone unlocking and different networks kind of working with different networks working on phones kind of going from there. And so today, to answer that question as far as off of things, keep in mind I do not guarantee results on every model phone. I am doing it independently myself just to see. I already know what the actual answer is on the phone I have. But each phone really, it depends and varies per phone, per network, the bands that they work on. And we'll kind of talk a little bit about that as we go through it. But sometimes you are with a carrier and sometimes you want to switch, you want to get a better deal. But you don't. A lot of carriers nowadays have bring your own device in, such as this, and you can bring it to their network. There are some stipulations to that if it's going to work on their network, if it's unlocked, and going from there. And there are some circumstances behind it first and foremost. So first and foremost, before a carrier, if you buy a phone from a carrier, whether it be Tmobile, Sprint, or Sprint's no longer around, Tmobile, Verizon, AT&T, they require that the phone usually is paid off before they unlock the device for you to be able to use with the different carrier if you want to be able to do it, just so that way they know that it is tied to their network. However, after you're done with your contract, you've paid off your phone, or if you bought it outright, and there's also restrictions as well too. Some require you to be on their network for so long before they will promise that they will even attempt to unlock that phone to be able to use on that network. And it's not to only deter theft. It's also to deter from people from buying a phone from them and then jumping immediately and going to another carrier and trying to reap the benefits if that phone will work on that carrier's network. So those are big things that will happen as far as you go along the way. So pretty much as far as off of things, a couple things I want to go ahead and go over before we get into everything here is your phone has what's called an electronic serial number, and which is also known in short ESN. Those were created by the U.S. Federal Communications Commission, also as the FCC, to identify mobile devices. So each phone has its own individual electronic serial number. It cannot be the same on two devices. So that's pretty much that. Then another thing is an IMEI number. Most of the time when you're talking to a carrier, they're going to ask you for that number. This basically is a unique number that is tied to each device to make sure it is that device that what you are saying it is. So if I call up, for example, when I'm trying to get my phone switched over, they're going to ask me for that IMEI so that way they can validate that it is an IMEI. Now, there's a lot of things nowadays that they do validate when looking at the IMEI number. A lot of carriers look at it to make sure it's not in the database for lost and stolen phones, or it doesn't have a balance before they are switching it over to their network, because they can't, usually when there's a balance on that device, they cannot switch it to a different carrier. It has to be tied to that same carrier. If it's lost or stolen, it's reported, so that way the IMEI is blacklisted and it's put into a national database, so that way it cannot be used. It's pretty much bricked, and it can't be used on any platform of network. The ICC ID, this is your SIM card. So each phone has a SIM card, and it looks like this right here, and pretty much it is pretty much your security information about your network, your device, your phone number, your information that is all on that on the network. This is going to allow you to be able to use that network that you're trying to get onto. So whether you're on Metro PCS, T-Mobile, Sprint, and I keep on saying Sprint, they're no longer in business, Verizon, AT&T, Page Plus, any provider, nowadays you're going to have that SIM card that helps them to be able to use it to that device. Unlocked phone, what does that mean? An unlocked phone is a phone that is not tied to just one carrier, specific carrier. It can work, it possibly has the ability to work on multiple networks. So the biggest thing as far as off of it, so when you want to get your phone unlocked, usually you call the carrier And they go through a series of things to make sure your phone, again, is not lost, stolen, the balance is paid off and everything. And then what happens is you take another company's SIM card, you put it in, they give you a unique code to go ahead and hit when you do that, so that way it unlocks it and allows for other networks to work on there. Now keep in mind, not every phone works with another carrier. So you have to do your due diligence when doing that. And also, again, they don't guarantee on bring your own devices in that network compatibility of their being able to get their 4G, 5G network, 3G network, any of that, mobile multimedia messaging, they do not guarantee that because it is not their phone. So when it comes to troubleshooting steps, you're going to have to do that independently if you're having a problem, as compared to if it's their own carrier phone. They will make sure that it's working on their network because it's tied into that network. So those are some pros and cons. Now, the nice thing about bringing your own device in is you don't have to worry about going and buying a new phone. You're able to use the old phone. You don't have to change any information. All that you have to do is swap your SIM card. However, again, it is up to you to make sure that phone does work on their network. So there's no guarantees. Even me, there's no guarantees. So usually what happens is, let's say you're wanting to switch to your carrier. So I am switching to Metro PCS. So what I had to do, first and foremost, is I had to call Metro PCS. I had to go through a whole bunch of questions, and they asked what kind of device it was, and I told them it was a Samsung Galaxy Ultra S25G. Then I had to give them my IMEI number, and I also had to have a SIM card. I had to have a Metro by T-Mobile SIM card. So then with that, as far as off of things, I went ahead and I gave them the IMEI. They were able to check it. They were able to clear it. They were able to see that there was nothing against the device. So they were able to go ahead and then ask me for the ICC-ID, which is the SIM card number. Then after that, as far as off of things, they went ahead, they went through that. Then what I had to do was I had to take the SIM card, and here you can see it's my Metro PCS SIM card. I had to put it in. They had to recognize it to the network. And now I'm going to turn it on. Now, the only difference as far as off of things that's going on here is that you are going to, this being a Verizon phone, is that it's going to have the Verizon logo when you start it up. Now, it said no SIM card, but look here. We have SIM card is not from Verizon Wireless. But we do have I'm going to go ahead and do this for you. Be completed. That's that. Sorry.
Please enter your password, then press pound.
I'm able to make phone calls. Now, you're going to notice Metro by T-Mobile shows up here. I am actually on their 5G network as well, too. Keep in mind, there's no guarantee always that that does work. Now, sometimes the APN settings, which are what get you to the internet and your multimedia, they are not programmed. So sometimes you will actually have to go into, and I'll show you right here, if you want to come back, you'll be able to find under mobile networks, your access point names, and there you go. These are the APN networks that Metro by T-Mobile does use to be able to get on. And they'll make sure that everything is set. There's your multimedia message. So that way you can have your multimedia messages sent to you. And it's automatically set up. So pretty much all I had to do was I had to, one, make sure the phone did work and it was compatible. Call Metro by T-Mobile and they verified it. And they put it in, and I was able to go ahead and use the network. Now again, not all phones do work. Not all phones do work with Metro by T-Mobile. You also have to make sure they have the band that works towards that network, because each provider has their own band that they have everything on. So, fortunately, Metro by T-Mobile does work in my Verizon Samsung Galaxy Ultra S20 5G, and I have the 5G network on my phone. So I'm able to get the benefits of their network by using my old device for my old carrier, and I didn't have to buy a new phone. And this is sometimes a convenient way to be able to get for customers, because sometimes you want to be able to switch. Price plans can be expensive with some providers compared to other. The difference also, again, is postpaid to prepaid. Prepaid, the benefit of that is usually your plan is cheaper than the postpaid side. However, when it comes to prioritization of the network goes towards the postpaid side prior to the prepaid side. So the prepaid side is on the secondary prioritization level, as compared to the postpaid side is on the higher level. Meanwhile, your bill is due on the day that it says, no ifs, ands, or buts. Some companies do allow you to stretch out your payment, and they do like a little, if you are having trouble with your bill, they'll allow you to be able to pay a certain percentage, and then they'll hold the services. However, prepaid must be paid on that day every single month, no ifs, ands, or buts. Otherwise, they cut your services off. Postpaid, they sometimes give you some leeway. They give you payment arrangements. Also, phone prices. On the postpaid side, you get a better deal on the phone pricing compared to the prepaid side. You are paying for that device up front what the value of that phone is they are selling it for that day. So that's the biggest differences between that. However, you do get sometimes the same utilization of that network. You just don't, and sometimes you don't get that roaming capability as well too, as compared to the postpaid side will allow you to transfer to the roaming partners. On your prepaid side, it usually just doesn't do anything with that. They kind of cut it to the lower level of prioritization of things. So it does work. You just have to be careful which phones, and you have to do your due diligence first and foremost of things. And keep in mind what I did at first when you heard the not able to go through. I tried to hit through the voicemail settings of the old of what the original carrier was, and that's why. So I have to go in there and be able to do that so I can use that same thing. But I'm able to browse the internet. I'm able to browse and go and do things, take pictures, send them to people, do multimedia messages, text messages. So pretty much I'm able to get my same network. And now another thing is, reason why I might have done it, Metro by T-Mobile does have a little better network for a cheaper price in my area than what a postpaid provider Verizon does in my area. And I'm in the St. Louis market, just to let everybody know first and foremost. And yes, in the St. Louis market, Metro by T-Mobile does actually have some decent speeds. I've done speed tests for you guys before. So pretty much as far as on things, they do work, they're solid, but you also, again, have to do your due diligence when doing unlocking of a phone. It's risky sometimes. Sometimes the phone does not work. Again, sometimes you're not able to get that benefit of being able to utilize their whole function of their network, whether it be 4G network, 3G network, 5G network, and kind of going from there. Now, if that doesn't bother you, it's something good to go with. If it's something that does bother you, well, I would recommend you probably stick with whoever that original carrier is and going from there. And keep in mind, you don't have to go through your carrier to get an unlocked phone. You can go on Amazon. You can go, Samsung, Apple, all of them, they do have unlocked phones that they do sell outside of carrier. And now the difference between buying a truly unlocked phone as compared to a carrier phone is the bloatware that's on the phone. When you're tied down to your carrier, usually they put a whole bunch of apps related and specific to that carrier. That's one of the benefits of Apple, I will say, is they don't allow that tie-in. As compared to Android, there's a lot of tie-in with bloatware apps that your carrier puts on there that you have to go and either disable or uninstall, which gets annoying after time. But that's the nice thing about buying the unlocked versions, and you can buy them directly from the manufacturer too. So like Samsung, you can buy directly from them. LG, OnePlus, Google Pixels. You can do all that as well too. But sometimes, again, it's the benefits of it is sometimes you want to be able to have the freedom to be able to not be tied down to one's network compared to another. But again, when doing an unlock from your carrier, so whether it be Verizon, Tmobile, AT&T, the three majors that you have out there, you have to be understanding if you're bringing it, even if you're bringing your phone to AT&T from T-Mobile, vice versa, you have to do your due diligence and make sure the services will work on the bands before you utilize that. Otherwise, you could be getting in there with the phone that may not work and everything. So those are some things to look at. And me, I'm just doing this based off of, again, this is in my St. Louis market. My Verizon Samsung S20 Ultra 5G does work and is able to get the benefits of the Metro by T-Mobile network. So I'm able to get those all. Now in other markets, it might not work. I don't know the bands for those. And going from there, it all, again, it's all broad definition of things. But it can be done with some and go from there. Some networks won't work on it. But I specifically did this because I do have I do have a test phone that I use with Metro by T-Mobile for the 5G services strictly. So that's why I wanted to go ahead and do this also to, for that person that was looking at it. So yes, it did work, but I cannot guarantee that it's going to work for every single device that you have. It's all specific. And usually your carrier there's an ESN checker, and they will tell you before you try to switch it over, they will actually tell you if it is compatible with their network, if you're going to have to do something with it, and kind of go from there. That's the general rule of thumb. So before even the carrier will allow you to switch, usually they ask for the electronic serial number or IMEI. Most of the times now it's the IMEI number they ask for. But they will ask that before they allow you to bring that phone to that network. And again, they cross-reference it. They make sure the phone's not lost or stolen. They make sure that it has a clear balance on it and that you own it outright before you are able to go ahead and bring it onto that network, so that way they know that it is paid off and going from there. But then again, there are some benefits to each and every side of things. And again, I explained the benefits. Sometimes it is very expensive on the postpaid side of things. It can get very expensive. However, you want to keep your phone and be able to bring it to another network. This is a good option once it's paid off. So I hope this review was actually pretty good for you if you were looking to get, be able to get an unlocked device and everything. I wish I had a little more broader of devices to go ahead and base off of and kind of go from there. But I hope this is a benefit to somebody that was looking to use Metro by T-Mobile with a Samsung Galaxy S20 5G. Keep in mind, results will vary, as I've said in the video. Again, this is my own independent review. I'm not being paid by Metro by T-Mobile. I'm not being paid by Samsung, any of it, to go ahead and do this. I do know it works and kind of goes from there. I cannot guarantee on everybody's device that it will work and go from there. I hope everybody liked this video, and I hope everybody has a wonderful Halloween.